What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I want to cover, is Medellin still safe in 2026? Now, this is a topic I think almost that comes up every year. There's always somebody making a video about it, year after year. Is it still safe? And the short answer to this is yes, it's still safe, but I do want to get more in depth with this topic. Now, if you don't know what's been going on with me lately, I have been trying to cover a lot, from what's been going on with Fernando Gutierrez, or Eric Fernando Gutierrez. I'm not sure if it's his first name or last name, but the situation with that, not only in long form content, but in short form content, as well as trying to renew my visa and also preparing, I don't think that's a word, preparing to, for this trip of going to Venezuela and getting everything arranged and fixed for that. Now, I want to say that we're all constantly having lessons in life, and this is something everyone knows. Even myself, been living here 3 years, almost 3 years here in Medellin, Colombia, and I'm constantly learning something new. And unfortunately, for some of us, we have to learn the hard way, but nevertheless, we are constantly learning lessons. For example, myself, I just learned a very expensive lesson. I just spent $400 paying off speeding tickets because I did not know that you cannot go over 50 kilometers within the inner city parts of Medellin when you're not on the freeway. So we all learn expensive lessons, or we all learn lessons, or every action has a consequence. Now, for a lot of you guys, I'm trying to say this in the nicest way possible. And I've said this not only in other live streams, but I've said it in other videos as well, that the most dangerous thing about Medellin is what most guys are coming here for, and that is women. And it's not necessarily the women you see at work, that are working in an establishment, that are normal women. It's the tourism women that everyone are coming here for. Now, I've said this before as well, is that a lot of these women are part of criminal syndicates or gangs, or even potentially cartels. And you guys are taking a risk every time you come out here to interact or partake in this specific type of tourism. Now, I've been living here 3 years. I know other people that have been living here longer than myself. One friend has been living here at least 17 years, other friends 5 years, other friends longer. Everybody has different increments of time. And all of these guys, we all have one thing in common, that we all have managed to live here without getting drugged and robbed. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because we're not out partaking in as tourism. We're not, mixing ourselves up with sketchy or questionable type women. And unfortunately, this is the case with a lot of guys that are coming here. Now, in the Fernando Gutierrez case, this is completely different. Something kind of almost, uncovered, because this is a gay guy this happened to. It didn't happen to a straight male that came here, that went to Jettis Park or went on a dating app. From my understanding, the gentleman didn't even go on a dating app. He actually met people out while he was at a club. Now, there is a huge mistake that he made, or the group made, because I believe it was him and one other girl, but they made the mistake of trusting people too easily, which is generally what happens when most guys come here. They trust someone too easy, and it turns out into them getting scoped. Now, in the Fernando Gutierrez case, he met some people at a gay bar and decided to leave with them to go to a second location. Now, I recently talked about this on my live, is that that's one of the hugest mistakes you can make here, no matter how cool you think people are, is to move from wherever you are to go to a second location that you don't know. You don't know the area, you don't know the neighborhood, you don't know the city. In this Fernando Gutierrez case, he went to Itagüí, which is a well-known after-hours spot, that he went to, but nevertheless, you are going to a secondary place with someone you don't know, and you may even be partially under the influence of alcohol or who knows, some other substance. You're not thinking 100% straight or correctly. Now, as I said, me, myself, and other friends of mine have all managed to live here and live good lives here in Colombia, or in Medellin, Colombia, and a few other people I know that live in other parts of Colombia have all managed to live here without getting drugged and robbed. Are we some rare exception? No, we just do not partake in the sexual tourism. And as I said, dealing with questionable women, and we all do not make exceptions to certain rules, which are: one, do not go to random places with people you just met, and do not deal with questionable women. Now, I'm going to say this, I understand for a lot of guys that are coming here, the women are beautiful. I understand you got a bunch of testosterone running through your body, and it is not very easy to come to a country where women are very beautiful and not be lustful. This is the weakness of men. It just is what it is. But this doesn't just happen here. I'm not going to act like in the United States I never traveled to Las Vegas to meet and hook up with girls, or guys don't travel to Miami to try to meet and hook up with girls that they meet while they're on vacation. Girls do the same thing. It's just here in Medellin, it just so happens that they're not the ones getting drugged and robbed. You guys are. So, in general, as I said, is Medellin safe in 2026, or is it safe in general any year going forward from now? I would say yes, it is. In general, you can come to Medellin, you can go to Guatapé, you can go do a lot of touristy stuff here, and you're not going to get drugged and robbed, or, the worst thing you may have to worry about is a moto, somebody on a moto robbing you. But even still, that does not happen on a regular basis if you are just coming here doing the normal touristy things like everybody else is. Now, as I said in the beginning of this video, it is what you guys are coming here for, which is the thing that is the most dangerous, is when foreigners are starting to try to interact with local women, or let's just say foreign guys, when they come here and they're trying to interact with local women, and they're just assuming that I can take the women here at face value. Unfortunately, Medellin and Colombia in general is not one of those places. This isn't Europe. This isn't Sweden, this isn't Norway or some country that is considered, one of the safest in the world. This is Medellin, Colombia. And as much as people, when you get here, it cannot seem like a third world country. And I don't even like to call it a third world country. Let's just say a developing country. You're coming to a developing country where the wage gap is very different between wherever you're coming from and the people here. So you have to remember that there's going to be some form of desperation in some people, not all. A lot of people like to come here and just work and live a normal life, and they're not out trying to rob and drug people or rob and scam people. So for my fellas, the message that I have to you, or anyone thinking, can I still go to Colombia, or can I still go to Medellin? It's 100% safe here. There are tons of expats, retirees, veterans that are managing to live here without getting drugged and robbed. And of course, whenever something gets brought up in the media, it tends to spike fear a lot more, and it tends to sound a lot worse or be covered more extremely than what it may be when you're actually here. Now, yes, the statistics are more than, 3 people are probably getting drugged and robbed a day, because it is guys that are coming here for S tourism. Now, like I said, other than that, there isn't, older couples or families getting drugged and robbed, or people getting kidnapped, or anything like that. And then this is a hill that I'm willing to die on, that yes, Medellin is safe, but it is safe only if you come here and you move correctly. And if you are going to be one of those people that have it in your mind, okay, well, I'm trying to keep this PG-13, but S tourism or P-titution is illegal in Colombia. It's legal for the locals, but it's not something that was meant for it to be just a global, a global thing like, oh, you're coming here to see the Statue of Liberty or something like that. Like, oh, it's just something for everybody to come here and do. Yes, it was made legal and is protected by the Constitution, but that is something that was here for the locals. Now, of course, everybody or a lot of guys are choosing to come here and exploit it. But I'm going to say this. If you are one of those people that are coming here to participate in that kind of tourism, do it responsibly, and there are establishments that you can go to partake or experience that. And you need to stick with establishments versus just trying to meet women on the street or through dating apps. I can't say it enough, and I'm pretty sure other people can't say it enough. Stay off of dating apps when you're here in Colombia. Dating apps do not work the same, especially Tinder does not work the same here in Colombia like it does in every other country. More than likely in almost every other part of the world, maybe except for Latin America. Latin America probably does move with different rules, but it is a normal app, a normal dating app in Europe, in Spain, and maybe in Chile and Peru and other places. But here in Colombia, it is its own animal, its own monster. You need to not even think about partaking in that. And then secondly, going back into the Fernando Gutierrez thing, what happened with him, it's do not be so trusting of people. Yes, Paisas or Colombians in general can be very friendly, very warm, very kind, but everyone does not have your best interest in mind. And I understand you're on vacation and you're trying to have fun and, mingle with people and make friends and be social. That's great. But it does not necessarily mean you need to go to a different location with people that you don't know and that you haven't met before. So to conclude this video, I want to say, yes, Medellin is safe. You can come here if you are planning on doing normal tourism. If you want to come here and go to Guadalupe, you want to come here and go to the miradors and the viewpoints. You want to come here and experience some of the amazing restaurants they have, some of the local cuisine that they have. If you want to come here and try to get into some dance classes or, something of that sense, or you just want to come here and experience the normal nightlife, the nightclubs and stuff like that, you'll have no issue with coming to Medellin, Colombia. It's the part where you start trying to get into that underworld of tourism and, trying to meet women while you're here. And I want to make this clear to anybody that may be coming here for, in general for tourism, and the whole looking for love thing, is a real thing nowadays. And of course, I don't bash it or blame anybody for wanting to relocate for love. But if you are only coming here for a weekend, if you're only going to be here for a week or maybe two, it is not a sufficient amount enough time to meet someone and where it will actually be a real relationship. Now, this is going into something else other than safety, but if you are coming here looking for love, a weekend or a couple of weeks isn't going to be a sufficient enough time to meet someone, especially not meet someone organically, where you don't have to rush and jump on applications and try to meet someone, because it is not going to be very easy for you to meet normal women here in that short amount of time. Yes, it is possible, and there probably are some exceptions to the rules, but majority of women here work. They work long hours, some 10 hours, some 12 hours, or maybe a little less, but women work a lot. So during the week, most women aren't available, which only may give you the weekend. So if you only are here for 2 weeks and you have 2 weekends, nothing of real value is probably going to happen in those couple of weeks. So, to end this video, like I said, in my opinion, and this is a hill that I'm willing to die on, that yes, Medellin is safe. You can come here, you can have a good time, and you can, you know, enjoy everything that Medellin has to offer. But if you are coming here for S tourism and you are not coming here with common sense and street smarts, and you are not thinking of, all right, well, I shouldn't be just going with random people to other places because they say, oh, I know this great other party spot or after hour spot or whatever it is, or, you know, oh, I'm trying to invite you to meet, you know, my friends or family or whatever. You know, you just, unless you know the culture in the city very, very well, you should not be indulging in things like that, shall we say. So that is it for this video. I appreciate you guys watching, and until the next one, everyone, be safe.